So this is my 1967 Martin D-28. It has Brazilian rosewood back and sides, has a wonderfully played mahogany neck, dark ebony fingerboard, ebony bridge. It has had a neck reset. This guitar sounds and plays really wonderfully. And so I just want to give you a highlight, show you how it sounds, and what it's actually like to own and play a Brazilian rosewood guitar. So you may or may not have watched the video, and you should, where I bought this guitar. I bought this guitar from Joshua. Joshua's 14 and his grandpa Raymond. And so I bought this guitar from them a couple weeks ago for $3,750. That's a lot of money. I got this guitar because I've always wanted to own a Brazilian rosewood guitar, but I'm not just in the last few years, I've really come to grips with the fact that my preference is much more mahogany. But there are certain key features to this guitar that make it really wonderful. As far as most people are concerned, this kind of guitar, a Martin D-28 Brazilian rosewood, ideally, probably Holy Grail would be pre-war. But this guitar is the top of the top for most people. So, does it actually live up to the hype? What is it like to play this guitar? What is it like to live with this guitar? I've had this guitar for 3 weeks or so now, and I haven't played it a ton, which is interesting. So, let's just walk through fit, features, and finish, and then I'll give my opinion and my thoughts and where I think this guitar is headed. So, as far as fit goes, this guitar is so excellently well built. All of the materials are really wonderful. So let's start from top to bottom. So super cool, very round, iconic 60s styles Fender headstock here. It has the patent number Grovers on the back of the neck, which are so cool. And one of my absolute favorite things about a D-28, and this is, I would say, if there is an aspirational part of a guitar for Martin, and Martin is very subdued in their styling, but you believe different things about yourself, about the quality of guitar player you are, if you have this neck volute right here. I know for me, this is the most iconic part of a D-28, and you want that, and you want people to see that you have the volute on the back of your neck. They're not on the 35s, they're not on, I think they skip from here up to the 41s. So this means you have a full-on professional great guitar. The neck on this guitar is very thin. It's much smaller than most Martin necks in my experience. And it's very tight, compact, playable. The nut is a bone nut. It is really well done. This definitely looks like the original. Yeah, I would bet lots of money that that is the original nut. The fingerboard is a dark, dark black ebony. The frets have very little wear. There's a couple, the second fret is the most visible, but even then, they're fine. They've got tons of life left. There are a couple little indents here on the fingerboard, where this guitar has just been played a lot, both in G and in A, you can tell. Capo too, because it's all the same indents that you would have in G, but they're just moved up. Very good guitar. Then you come to the top. The top is just beautifully kind of golden. The bridge too is a very dark piece of ebony. There's very, very light finish checking. And then there's some good wear down here from overstriking on the pickguard. There are no cracks on the top. There are no cracks in the guitar at all. It's just a good, pretty tight-grained piece of Sitka spruce top. And what's cool on the back, when you look through, you can see like the quarter sawn marks from the Brazilian on the back. You can see where the saw milled this lumber. Then coming around to the back, the Brazilian Rosewood. This is very straight Brazilian, which some people love, some people it's not as exciting. I love the crazy super figured black, like the inky blacks and those deep purple hues. That's my favorite in Brazilian. This is very straight, but it does sound very iconically Brazilian Rosewood. The guitar has had a neck reset, and with that, there's still a tall saddle and the action is pretty high. That's typically the way bluegrass players want to have their guitar set up. And so the action's a little higher than I would play it if I would keep this guitar. So all of the fitment about this, all of the parts are so well made. The bridge and the body are still dead flat. There's no bellying. The bridge has not tilted. Everything about this guitar is still just in great tip-top shape, a really good fit. Let's talk about the finish. The finish has light checking throughout. There are no cracks, no issues, no overspray. I really thought there was some overspray over here, but the more I've looked at it, it's just the original finish. It just got hot at some point. Just a little bit of orange peel up here on the sides. The back of the neck is wonderfully kind of worn down. The finish is just kind of worn off. So you can tell that someone's just loved and played this guitar up and down the neck, and the finish is gone, and it just feels very smooth and very great. So these are the original Grovers, and they're chrome, but they're starting to get little pits and green spots, and they're starting to very gracefully show their age and look really great. The logo is very dark on the headstock, and the headstock itself is very round, and that's just the way that they were done. The story goes that the jig in the 60s used to route the headstocks had just worn out, and so it had become very rounded. So in the end, the finish is just great. And it's all original. There's no overspray, there's no cracks, there's no refinishing anywhere. This guitar is just a really great straight-on survivor. This guitar just comes alive the harder you play it. You have to really dig in. It sounds sweet all the time, but it comes alive when you really dig in and play really hard, which is why this guitar is so well suited for bluegrass players that can just push and drive and play so hard for so long and so fast. That's not my style, but this guitar is a wonderful piece of American history. It's a really important guitar. So in one way, this guitar is significant because of the materials it's made with, but there's this other component in which it's just the age as well that makes this guitar sound truly wonderful and magical. So it is Brazilian Rosewood, it is Sitka Spruce top, but on top of that, it's also 52 years old now. So the cell structure inside the top of the guitar changes as it gets older, and it takes on humidity, loses humidity as winter and summer and winter and summer. As guitars grow, they start being affected by humidity less and less. The reason that happens is that the cell structure in the top of the guitar becomes crystalline. And as it becomes crystalline, it becomes more rigid. It can't take moisture anymore, and the guitar is slowly drying out. And as it eventually completely dries out, those cell structures rupture. And so both they're rigid, they can't take on water, but they're also broken, they're open. And so what that means, when someone says a guitar has opened up, typically that is part of what your ears are hearing, is that you hear a top that is less susceptible to humidity. But it also becomes more iconic in the tone of the guitar. That is a huge reason why people love these guitars. And that's why there's now such a push in the guitar, in the new guitar world, to have, and you'll hear lots of words around this, roasted, torrefied, baked, thermo-cured. There are lots of words that all say the same thing. There are now ways that we know how to synthetically age a guitar. You can dry out the top so that it has the same oldness, the same old tone to it that is articulate and light and boomy and bassy, all of the things that most people want in guitars you can now make. But this guitar has done it just by being a guitar for so long and being loved and played. Guitars always sound better when they've been played a lot. This guitar, you can tell, has been loved and played really well. The more I play this guitar, the more I get it. I understand why people love and chase after these guitars. This is a wonderful example. No cracks, no finish issues, good neck reset, easy to play, sounds great. This guitar is a great example of why people love Martin guitars, why people love D-28s, and why people will spend so much more money for Brazilian Rosewood rather than East Indian Rosewood. Thanks for watching this video. I am Jeremy, I'm the Guitar Hunter. I hope you go and you find great guitars and gear. I hope that this gives you the closest experience to being around, playing, living with a Brazilian Rosewood Martin D-28 from the 60s. It's a great guitar, it is wonderful. I'm very excited to own it. I will see you soon. If you want to support the channel, there are a couple ways you can do that. It is always helpful for you to buy t-shirts and merch. They are in the description below. They're also right here. And then also, if you want to become a patron, that is super helpful. Patreon.com/guitarhunter. I'll put the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all soon.